This show is called Parasyte the Grey. I thought it was Parasyte Grey. Anyway, Korean on Netflix. Really good. Really good. I was about to call it brilliant, and it is in places, in parts it is. I recommend it. So first things first, watch it. Okay, it's good sci-fi. Sci-fi like this needs to follow rules, and I'll go into that in a moment when I'm talking about spoilers. It needs to follow rules, and those rules are required for the story to propel, and for certain things to happen, for us to understand how things work, for the characters in there to understand how things work, and they're very important. And in this, the rules are followed, the rules that are created are followed, they make sense, they're really good, and it ends up being a really good show. So I do recommend it. It's suspenseful, it's a thriller, and it has really good suspense in parts, which is what you want from a show like this. Really well produced, really well put together. This is a mix of a lot of different things too. A lot of different things are mixed into here. A lot of different types of show are mixed into this, and it makes it really impressive. So again, I do recommend this. So if you are thinking about watching this, then stop this video here, go away and watch it, come back later, because we're going to start talking about spoilers now. Spoiler alert, you've been warned. Okay. But yeah, this show is really good. So if you're thinking about watching it, go away and watch it. Stop this video here and now. Okay. So great thriller, really good in some parts. In most parts, actually, it is actually really good. There are parts of it that don't make sense, and I'm just going to touch on those right now. For example, they do the thing where before the cops come to this meeting that you can see here, they get scanned. All right, so they get scanned, get x-rayed and stuff. So the main copper lady, this one, she knows if they're aliens or not. It works with her theory, and her theory is that all of the parasites have got into human bodies at this point, and they're not going to change bodies. So with the knowledge that she had at that point, I get it. Yeah, she scanned them once and wasn't worried about scanning them over and over again. Fair enough. Okay. But I think you'd be safe rather than sorry, wouldn't you? You'd find a way to scan these people prior to coming in. Like, let's say the simple thing, breaking a hair. If you break the hair or pull the hair off a parasite, it will perish quickly. So they could have just done that. Just take a hair out of, off a person. And that would have been a good way of testing each time. Quick, simple, and you can do that as they walk in. So that's one thing. Another thing which I'll just touch on right now on the same point, this is the point of it being illogical. That's where this main character lady, yeah, she eventually towards the end of the show, she is communicating with the main character, the main female character. I've forgotten her name. I should get her name somewhere. But the copper lady is talking to the main character, and the main character is helping the policewoman, right? She's helping her. Often she's almost getting caught trying to help the policewoman. And the policewoman suspects her and doesn't believe her. It's like, that's the best help you're going to get. She's actually like half a parasite. So you should probably try and maybe listen to what she's saying for as long as she's willing to speak to you. But this detective works against her. He's like, oh, so now you want to help, do you? Oh, right, so I should believe you now, should I? It's like, well, things I've been saying to you are turning out to be true. We shouldn't be having this conversation. But that happens. And it's one of these where, yes, that's probably a requirement to propel the story forward, but it doesn't make sense. It's a bit silly. Yeah, it's a bit weird, but that happens. Especially weird when this detective woman is like some sort of legend. Like, she's an author. She like teaches people how to be detective or something. She is like the pinnacle, the forefront of like crime investigation, or even like covert investigation in Korea. So she's like top dog. but she's moving a bit weird in a few parts of this. So that's covered. Now let's move on to the different show types that are in this. Okay. There is a very small percentage of this show that is a love story. The love story is this detective woman and her husband, because it's her husband who becomes a parasite. That's one of them. And there is a degree of like tenderness there. There's a degree of like, romantic stuff at that point. So there is that. That's like the small percentage that is a love story, that is a drama, which I think is almost a necessity when it comes to Korean shows. Yeah. So anyway, that's there. The next thing, there's the gangster theme in this. I like watching gangster things. They're interesting, and you can do lots of different types. There's Italian gangsters, there's like Russian gangsters, Korean gangsters, Chinese, Japanese, there's, South Asian. There's so many types. Almost like every type of person, there is like the gangster theme that can be attached to it, and it's interesting. It adds a bit of seasoning to the show, and so that's in there. So there's that. Then there's the whole crime show, crime drama, and I really like East Asian crime shows. Yeah, like I've almost like grown up on things like Police Story, Hard Boiled, yeah, which if you haven't seen are brilliant. Infernal Affairs with Tony Leung. So yeah, there's that. So there's the love story, there's the gangster story, there's the crime aspect, which is really well done in this. And then to top it all off, this is basically a sci-fi program. Sci-fi, like almost zombies, but not aliens, more like body snatchers type thing. Really well done, really well put together. And that takes us on to the next part, which is rules. Now, sci-fi shows require rules. Now, let me give you an example. A Quiet Place, that has beings in there which they can't see you. You can be right in front of their face, but they can hear everything. Yeah, they can hear everything. So the rule there is you can be in front of its face, but you've got to be dead silent. Yeah, that's the rule there. And then there's the rules on how it can be killed. Yeah, I don't know how those can be killed, but certain ways. A Quiet Place Day 1 is going to be amazing. I can't wait for that. Now this, yeah, so rules first of all, this is interesting. So the actual main character girl, right, she was getting attacked at the time when the parasite came and it just went into her body. Now, because she was getting attacked, that parasite, for it to survive, because it's now chosen this body, for it to survive, it had to repair the body it was in. But in doing so, it couldn't take over the body completely. So instead, it's merged with the body. Okay, so it hasn't taken over, it is present, and it's repaired the body. And so now it's in a state where they need each other in a way. Or at least the parasite needs the body, the host. And so it can only come out in small bursts to protect the body, because it's just protecting itself, really. And that's what happens. Now, as the rules go on and the rules make sense and they're logical and they're brilliant, if that body, that host, wasn't damaged and it never had to, if the parasite never had to repair the body, in that event, the parasite can take over the body and have its own specialism. Okay, so it can take over the body and have its own strength, whatever it wants. For example, it can focus on travelling, so maybe running fast, flying, which one of them does. But because that one could fly, it didn't focus on combat, so its weaponry was weak. So your other strength could have been weaponry instead, and being a strong fighter. So it's really interesting how they're able to not only take over a body, but then have a specialism. And then there's like that king one, that main king one, which is proper powerful. And then not only did it take over a body, but then it could also switch bodies, because it switches into like the copper in this video in the middle there, in the picture. Not only does it switch bodies as well, but like it can switch again. Switched bodies like multiple times, and that was crazy, unexpected, brilliant. Yeah. So yeah, there was that. It was fantastic, really well put together. And were they psychic? I don't know if they were psychic or not. Could they speak to each other through like psychic? I don't know. But yes, really good. I believe there was hints of a season 2. Okay, at the end of it, the way it finished. Very impressive. I'm sure this next season of it is going to be really good. I'd recommend it. This was really good, really well put together, and a great show. I give this like a strong 8.6. Strong 8.6 out of 10. It's actually really good, really well produced. I think I've covered all the rules that I wanted to cover. There are ways on how to kill it. You've got to shoot it in a particular way to kill it. There's this whole thing about when they get close together, they can sense each other. So that was pretty cool. Basically, the rules in it, they make sense and they don't really cross each other over. So they're very simple, but at the same time, really impressive. So yeah, I think I'll leave that there. Really impressive, really well put together. I do recommend it. Great show. And for now, guys, I will catch you in the next one. See you later.